Good afternoon. We're doing the laws of Sefriah, and we are on Simon Tough Pay Test. Sif Test 489.9. Okay, let's get started. Lal Shabbos Val Yom Tov Mevarchim Besofrim Achar Kiddush Beis HaKnesses. Shabbos and Yom Tov, when you count Sefriah, you should make the bracha and count Sefriah after they make Kiddush in Shul. Many synagogues make Kiddush in Shul, so Sefriah should be counted after you make Kiddush. Over Motzi Shabbos v'Yom Tov, Kodem Havdalah. But Motzi Shabbos and Motzi Yom Tov, meaning at the end of Shabbos, the end of Yom Tov, so Saturday night, Sefriah should be counted before Havdalah. Achar Kaddish Tiskabel, after the long Kaddish. Okay, so let's do the Mishnah Berurah on that so far. Okay, says the Mishnah Berurah, Achar Kiddush Beis HaKnesses. So why do we say Sefriah after Kiddush and Shul? We want to start Shabbos as early as possible. We want to get the holiness of Shabbos to come in, so we say Kiddush before Sefriah, because with Kiddush, we usher in the holiness of Shabbos. However, if you're counting Sefriah, that's if you're counting in Shul. If you're counting in your house, then you should count Sefriah before Kiddush. Because it's forbidden to eat before you count Sefriah. So in a Shul, you do Kiddush first. In your house, you do Sefriah before Kiddush. Kodem Havdalah. So why do we say Sefriah before Havdalah, Saturday night? Because we want Shabbos to last as long as possible. So Shabbos leaves us with Havdalah. So Shabbos lasts longer, we say Sefriah before. So we want Shabbos to come in as early as possible, and we want it to leave as late as possible. Achar Kaddish Tiskabel, we said you should count Sefriah after the long Kaddish, because Saturday night we have the extra prayers after Marav. Rotza Loimar, the Mishnah Berurah says, Masha Amrim Achar Vahi Noam Ve'ata Kadosh De'az Hu Gemar Tefillah. He says we count Sefriah after the Kaddish, which is after Vahi Noam Ve'ata Kadosh. The Kaddish Kama Einu Gaimer, we don't say the full Kaddish before that. She'enu Kaddish Shalem V'itin Lecha Amrim Achar Sefriah. And the verses of V'itin Lecha, for those who say it, those should be said after Sefriah. This is all found on page 594 of the Art Scroll Siddur. Okay, we didn't do that yet. Let's go back in the Shulchan Aruch. Okay, so that's what we have. Friday night, we said Sefriah is counted after Kiddush in Shul, but before Kiddush at home. And Saturday night, Sefriah is counted before Havdalah. Now, Yom Tov Achron Shel Pesach b'Motzi Shabbos. Let's say if the last day of Pesach falls on Saturday night, Da'az Eimer Kiddush v'Havdalah b'Pamachas. So when that happens, we have the 7th day of Pesach on Shabbos, and the 8th day of Pesach is Sunday. So that means Saturday night, you have the long Kiddush, which includes Havdalah, because Shabbos is ending, and the last day of Pesach is starting. So you have Kiddush for the last day of Pesach, which is Saturday night to Sunday, and you have Havdalah for Shabbos. So when do you say Sefriah then? So Yesh Lispor Kodem Shmevarchem Alakos Bebeis HaKnesses. So there you should say Havdalah before you make the bracha on the wine in synagogue. Okay. Says the Mishnah Berurah. The reason we're saying this is because the 7th day of Pesach never falls out on a Saturday night, only the 8th day of Pesach. And also the 2nd day of Pesach, we don't make Kiddush in Shul, because obviously we have the Seder, Yesh Lispor Kodem. So we make Kiddush before. We count Sefriah Sa'omer before the Kiddush and Havdalah of Saturday night, when the last day of Pesach is on Sunday. Now what's the reason we say Sefriah first? We say Sefriah first because we want the holiness of the day to last as long as possible. Well, here we kind of have two holinesses. We have Shabbos, which is the 7th day of Pesach, and then we have Saturday night Sunday, which is only the 8th day of Pesach. Even though now, Saturday night, we are accepting the holiness of the 8th day of Pesach, nevertheless, Kedusha Shabbos Gedolah Kedusha Yom Tov. The holiness of Shabbos is greater than the holiness of Yom Tov. So we want the holiness of Shabbos to last longer, because it's a holier holiness than the holiness of Yom Tov. So we count Sefriah before we make Kiddush and Havdalah, so the holiness of Shabbos will last longer. The Taz even holds This even applies if the last day of Pesach does not fall out on Saturday night. Let's say it's a regular weekday, whatever it is. You have the 7th day of Pesach and the 8th day of Pesach. So we're making Kiddush on the 8th day of Pesach. When do you count Sefira then? The Taz holds, he says you should make Sefira before Kiddush. Why? So he writes that the reason is because according to the Torah, Pesach has 7 days. Biblically, Passover is only 7 days. However, the rabbis added another day. They added an 8th day. So the Taz says, since the 7th day is a Torah holiday and the 8th day is only a rabbinic holiday, we want the Torah holiday to last as long as possible. So we should count Sefira before Kiddush, even when it's on a weekday. But the Mishnah Berurah says that the other rabbis argue on the Taz, and they hold you only do the Sefira. It's only important to do the Sefira before Kiddush and Havdalah when the 8th day of Pesach falls out on Motzei Shabbos, falls out on Saturday night. Okay, but general here we learned the concept that we want Shabbos and the holy days to last as long as possible, so therefore we say Sefira in general after Kiddush, so we can come into Shabbos as soon as possible, and we say Sefira before Havdalah, so Shabbos can stay with us a little longer. Wishing everyone a beautiful day.